Hello, my name is Max Bamfield. Welcome to my talk. Today I'll be discussing how photos of a tourist town called Tailem Town were turned into a photo of a town from the Wild West. So let me explain. About a year ago, I went with a photography group to a tourist attraction called Tailem Town and found out that when the bridge was built over the River Murray, next to Tailem Bend, a chap called Peter Squires decided to collect some of the houses, shops, tractors and trains from that town and bring them down to his property this side of the river and set them up as a pioneering village to show South Australians and other visitors what the place looked like perhaps 100 years ago. Well, about a year ago, I went with a photography group there to take photos. And we were required to take photos of the various items and a street scene or two, and to turn one of them into a street scene from the Wild West. I'll now proceed to show how I did that using Photoshop elements and creative photography methods. This is a photo of a tractor from Tailem Town and a street scene. It was an overcast day, the sky was grey, the buildings were grey, and it's not very colourful. I processed the tractor to give it more colour and a border. As you can see there, it's quite an improvement. This is a photo of the street scene, or one that I took and that I chose to develop. I needed to swap the overcast sky with a more colourful one, but I couldn't remove the sky and keep the detail in the trees as well as I'd like. So I used a sketch tool to draw a line over the rooftops. It was a polygonal selection tool to produce a line over the rooftops of the houses and deleted the great sky, including the trees above. But that left tree trunks visible in front of the houses up to the rooftops, which looked odd. As you can see there, neatly cut the photo using Photoshop elements along the rooftops and replace the trees above the shops. Now the unfortunate things that removed it left the tree trunks under the roof. I then added a blue sky with white clouds, but it didn't match the colours below, as you can see. So I used filters or blend modes to change the colour of the shops, to disguise the tree trunks in front of the shops. But it made the tree trunks more obvious. As you can see here, the tree trunks on the left and the tree trunks on the right are even more obvious under the dispensary. So I'll now show you how I remove the post and the tree trunk up to the gutter of the veranda, and also how I remove the tree trunk by copying the gutter over it, and the same with the rooftops of the veranda and the roof. Over time, the fading paint and the deteriorating woodwork left a grey appearance in the shops. And the colour scheme that I achieved was used by using filters or blend modes, which essentially removed the grey pixels and removed the colour of the shops as it would have been 100 years ago. As you can see here, I then had to remove the tree trunks in front of the shops. And I did it by drawing a line around the trunk below the gutter of the roof of the veranda. And I used a content aware tool to replace the trunk with its surroundings. As you can see there. In this photo on the right, I've actually removed the entire tree trunk, but I just briefly describe how I went through that. I copied a small section of the gutter on the veranda and added it in front of the tree a small piece at a time until the gutter went all the way from one side of the trunk to the other and the trunk essentially was covered over. I then cloned a small section of the corrugated iron on the roof and added it in front of the tree trunk and branches, a small piece at a time, from the bottom of the roof to the top, and then from left to right until the tree trunk and any branches were covered over and you couldn't see them anymore. As you can see, if you have a look now, you'll see all the tree trunk and the post is gone. I also had to use a marquee selection tool on the wall because it didn't look very good when I removed the tree trunk. So what I did was I used a colour picker tool on the wall, the yellowy white colour, and used a paintbrush to paint precisely a straight line to the right of the wall edge. And then I did the same thing on the other side of the wall so that it became a straight line. I also saw some vague patches under one roof. So I enlarged the photo and saw a vague horse-drawn cart. So I enhanced its colour and contrasted it with the background to make it visible. As you can see, the dark patch under the roof there, and if you look closely you'll see that there are two horse-drawn carts there. I blew this photo up on the left, doubled its size, tripled its size, etc., until I could vaguely see those two items, and I brightened the colours and contrasted them with the background so that you can clearly see the horse-drawn carts, two of them, and their wheels. So that's what it looked like. Completely changed from its original photo. The colour of the sky was achieved by using a photo of the sunset over the semaphore area of sea. And that happened because during that week I was driving my car down Montague Road and I saw a spectacular sunset over the Semaphore beach and sea about perhaps 5 or 10 miles away. But there were trees and houses, telephone poles and wires in the way of my camera. So I turned right, went up Nelson Road and turned left and went down Kester's Road, which is a steeper hill. And I could see the horizon without any impediments because the telephone poles and the houses were below my camera line of sight. I then got a photo of a volcanic or other explosion and blended them together. You can see here that's a photo of Semaphore Beach. The sun was, it was about 6:30 at night. The sun was below the horizon. The sky immediately above the horizon was bright yellow and it faded to a sort of a darker orange colour as you go up. So I used a marquee selection tool to select a section of that sky that was free of any impediments. There were items missing in the 1/3 position to the left of the photo and the line of sight at the horizon. So in photography, it's useful but not always necessary to have something in the 1/3 position, as in the yellow star, which is a third in from the side and a third up from the base. You can have it a third down from the top and in, or a third down from the right, etc. But here, in this 1/3 position, I could have placed a tractor. I had the photo, but it would have been time consuming to change the shape and angle and colour of it to match the scene. Similarly, I had a photo of a train and carriages and I could have placed them in the line of sight, but I didn't have the time to process them in the way that would be required. So I added a caption. I never used it at the time, but I'll use it now. And I want to include a 1/3 and a line of sight feature in the photo. So I'd like you to use your imagination to fill in the details. This is Bugs Bunny's hideout. A photo's taken at dawn as he rushes out the door and looks down the street to see what the commotion is. And he sees Daffy Duck and Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd stampeding across the horizon with all guns a-blazing on the opening day of Wabbit season. Now, Bugs Bunny was quite a popular cartoon show many years ago, and Yosemite Sam was quite a pugilistic character. And Elmer Fudd had a speech impediment, so instead of saying it was rabbit season, he said Wabbit season. So this is a photo of Bugs Bunny's hideout in the town in the desert of Arizona in the wild, wild west. And that's how I changed it. You can see the photo on the top with all the grey colours, and you can see the trees and the posts in front of the dispensary, etc. And you can see how it's been changed. Now, I thought I'd also do a photo that reflected early scenes in South Australia. And you can see there how I blended it differently. I was going to do this one first, but I thought it would be too difficult to remove the tree trunks from the shop front and the roofs. But when I was able to do it on the other blend, I applied the same principles to this one, and you can see the result. And that's quite a antique looking photo of Tailem Town. Now, here is my final slide. I'm showing you the original photo of the top left and the photo of the sunset sky over Semaphore Beach and the sea there, 5 or 10 miles away, and a photo interpretation of what it'd be like in Australia at midnight 100 years ago, and what it would be like as Bugs Bunny's hideout on the opening day of Wabbit season, as the characters come racing over the horizon with all guns a-blazing in the wild, wild west. Thank you for watching. If you like it, please tell your friends to have a look, and if I get enough interest, I'll publish several other photos and how I transform them in different ways using creative photography.